Welcome back, guys. In our last tutorial, we created some endpoints which we also tested out and they worked, which are the login and sign up endpoints for authentication and user creation. So today we are going to implement these endpoints to our front end application, and we are going to also implement state management using Flutter BLoC. So to get started, we head over to our front end application. Okay, in this our home page, we are going to change its name to splash screen, or we just call it splash. Let's rename it to splash so that it will serve as our splash screen. Okay, so what is it doing? Once we come in here, the we'll check if there is a token available, which means that someone is already logged in. If the person is logged in, the person will be taken to a page, which is the chat home, where the users will be listed out. Else, the user will be taken to the login page. While that is happening, we'll just show a home page, a text on the splash screen. Let's call it splash screen or welcome. Let's just write welcome. Welcome to the app. So we'll create the chat homepage. So under features, we create a new folder called chat. And under the chat, we create a file called chat home. Okay. Let's call it chat home. And then we go to our splash screen and implement it here. We say chat home. Okay, we have it in here functioning. Now that we have our splash screen ready, we head over to our popspec.yaml file to get the package that we need to handle state management or to handle states. The package that we need is Flutter BLoC. So we type in Flutter BLoC. We have it here. We hit enter. And then we'll also get the other package, which is BLoC, and we also get BLoC. Now we've gotten these two dependencies, we can go to our terminal and type flutter pub get to get the two packages. This might be gotten automatically, but to be sure, we head in here and say flutter pub get. We now head over to our authentication folder and create a folder called BLoC and create two BLoC folders. One is login BLoC and the other one will be sign up. So we write login and we hit enter. So in here, we create a folder, call it login BLoC. We select all these and put in there. Then we create the sign up BLoC. All right, we will start off by setting up the login states. Then we move over to the login events and then the login block before we move over to sign up. So what are the states that are obtainable? The very first state is the initial state, then maybe the login loading state, then when the state is successful, and then if there is failure. So let us get those states up. We say class login loading. Now we have our login states ready. So let us set up the login events. So the events that we want, or the events that will happen, is when we click the login. So some other people or some other persons might have another view about this, but this is a minimalist app, so we won't do much in here. So we call it class login clicked. Extends all right, we have our login event ready. So let us also set up our sign up state and our sign up events, so that the final thing we do will be to set up our sign up block and our login block. So we can just copy this and paste, and then call this sign up loading, call this sign up success, and then sign up failure. All right, then we do the same thing for the sign up events dot as we did in the login. So now we head over to login and set up our login block. All right, this is the login block and it's all set up now. We will set up our sign up block and then test our app. So we do almost the same thing we did in the login block. So let's go. We created an auth service where we can get token, we can get the user email and so many other things. Now that we are done with our login and sign up block, we go to our interface and then implement them in the login and sign up interfaces. But first of all, let us head over to the login interface and implement these changes that we have made. So in our login block, in our login interface, we will wrap our scaffold with a block listener. So let us tap here, we say wrap with block listener. And which block do we want? We want the login block. So we tap out, then import the block listener, and then we import the package Flutter BLoC. And in the listener, we make some checks. We say if state is login success, what do we want? We want to go to the chat home page. We say widgets binding instance. So we'll now then navigate to the chat home. So context the push replacement pages the chat home. So we'll go to our navigation and set this up. We've already set it up in our pages. Let's go to our router and set that up. So copy this, create another go route, and we call it chat home. So we now say else if state is login failure, what do we want? So on the body, we Now wrap we now wrap the body with a block builder. Then we set up our button on top. So what do we want when we click login? We check if the test controllers are empty. If they are empty, we throw an error. If all that is met, then we now read the login block and add the login click events. So if we want to add some other features to this, we might want to change how the button looks when the login is loading. We say state is loading. Is login loading. Alright, we are done with the login. So let's head over to sign up and do almost the same thing in the sign up. All right, now our sign up and login logic are ready to test out and see if this works. First of all, let us run our app. While our app is loading, we also need to start up our server. So we head into the backend side of things and start up our server. Now our app is up and running. Yeah, there will be errors, so we need to start up our server before we now run our app. So let's start our server. All right, looking at our error, it says this happens because you used a build context that does not include the provider of your choice. So the issue is that we didn't use a block provider maybe at the top level of our application. So to correct that issue, we go to our main.dat file and wrap the material app with a multi-block provider. We first of all wrap it with a block provider, and then we convert the block provider to a multi-block provider. So let's import the Flutter BLoC package. Then we convert it to a multi-block provider. Okay, so what are the blocks that we need? We need first the sign up block and then the login block. So let's import these. And then let's refresh our app. Now we have successfully implemented block. So we can try to sign up a user. Let's say first name is Chikezrim. Last name Rioha. Email. And then password, you can just say HK1234. Then we confirm the password. But remember earlier on in our services, in our API service, we said that on debug that we should use this URL. But now we are running on an iPhone simulator instead of an Android simulator. So we have to change this to use this localhost URL. So we change it to 127.0.0.1 and end it with a / so that it can match up with our endpoints. So then let us refresh and then try to sign up once more. Now we have signed up, and if you check on our backend, we had a successful sign up by receiving the HTTP response of 201. So let's try to log in with the email. So the email was riohac@gmail.com. Then the password, and we hit login. So if everything is successful, we should get a 200. So yes, our login is successful, and it led us to this chat home interface, which has a placeholder. We can say maybe return a scaffold. Then we refresh, and we see a plain white background. All right, guys, that is how to authenticate your users and create new users in our application. In the next tutorial, we are going to implement the chat bubble, and then in other tutorials we will then create our app with WebSockets and make our users to communicate with our chat application. Thank you for watching till this moment. Have a wonderful time.